You know, it would be nice if there was a pixel editor that was as good as Aseprite, but optimized for mobile. Sure, Pixel Studio exists, and it's the best on the market right now. But it can be a bit clunky, and also, So, let's make our own pixel editor. I'll be using Godot 4 for this. First, we'll need a canvas, right? There we go. And we'll give it a checkerboard wherever the canvas is transparent. A little bit of shader magic, and check. Now we just need to add some controls to the camera. Mouse wheel to zoom, middle click to pan. That's not so hard. Alright, now let's add the touch controls. This should be easy. Oh no. Oh no. I started by doing the usual thing, look for an existing implementation, tutorials, and so on, but so many of these resources got it wrong, or at least settled on something different from what I wanted, that this turned from something that should be very simple to something that took me many weeks. You see, to make it feel as natural as possible, we want to keep the part of the canvas that is under your finger, well, under your finger. One of the first resources I found for this was Ombrus's video, which lays the problem out quite nicely.
The camera should always try to adjust itself to keep whatever element on the screen is under your finger at that same position.
However, Ombrus made it so that zooming centers around the average of the two touch positions, which doesn't always satisfy our constraint of maintaining our fingers' positions on the canvas. It covers the common case where your fingers mirror each other's movements, but if you hold one finger still, we want to zoom toward the stationary finger, not the center of the two fingers. I tried so many things to get it to work how I wanted, but at some point I came across this wonderful article in the Xamarin Forms documentation that completely changed my approach. As it turns out, we don't need to zoom towards some point between the two fingers. Because of the way Godot handles touch events, only one finger position is actually updated at a time. So the other finger is stationary. That means we know exactly where we should be zooming in on. We call this stationary point the pivot, and it is very useful. That's all well and good, but how do we get it to work in practice? I spent a lot of time on this and even tried asking ChatGPT, but unfortunately ChatGPT is only good at solving problems that are easily Googleable. Eventually, I decided to start drawing circles at different positions on the screen to debug it, and I found out that I was working with bad input points, so it's no real surprise that the outputs were wrong. Finally, the zoom is working. So far, I had been using a fixed point and my mouse for basic tests, and now I was sending it to my brother to test with multi-touch since he has an Android phone, and because it's near impossible to test on an iPhone without a Mac. But it was starting to look like the way that I had been testing it was not going to be sufficient anymore. I tried using an Android tablet we had lying around, but it was so old that it only had Android 5, and it refused to run the app. So I went to Walmart and I got the cheapest Android phone they had. With my Nokia C100 now in hand, I got back to work. It quickly became clear that panning was working properly, but only along the line between the two touch points. In the other direction, it was doing nothing at all. So we need to get the component of the usual vector for panning that is perpendicular to that line. Luckily, there's a formula for that. And for some bizarre reason, we have to divide by 2, but that's it. We're done. Of course, if we really want to keep the canvas under our fingers, we also need to add rotation, but we'll save that for another time. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more stuff like this. If you're feeling especially generous, you can hop on over to Ko-Fi and send me a couple bucks to help fund my mission of creating the world's best pixel editor. If I get enough support, I will be making this project totally free and open source. Oh, and if you've made it this far, let me know in the comments below what you think I should name it. I'm terrible at naming things. Merry Christmas. Pure Asbestos, out.